Hey, pretty big legal news this week. Case that we previously commented on here on the video blog was decided yesterday by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals for the western part of the United States. The case was, of course, the case dealing with same-sex marriages in California. Background, California had passed Proposition 8. Proposition 8 said and defined marriage as only a relationship between a man and a woman. Well, the constitutionality of that was tested in a federal district court that was sitting in San Francisco. The judge there said it was unconstitutional because it denied equal protection to those who were of same sex and seeking marriage. Okay, went up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and yesterday, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals made a decision that basically upheld the decision by the federal district court judge. But before we get all excited about this, and I know there's lots of rhetoric floating around on the internet and all over regarding this decision, but let's be aware of one important thing. This is a very narrow decision, a narrow decision. Narrow decision in the sense that it's only relating to California. Why? Because one of the things the judges at the Ninth Circuit did, and there was a three-judge panel that looked at this, is they said, look at the history in California. California right now has laws on the books that allow same-sex couples to enter into a civil union. A civil union gives to them many of the same benefits as does a marriage. It is different in name and it's different in some of the rights, but the big difference is the difference in name. So the people in California, by a 54% margin, passed a proposition that said marriage will be defined as only between a man and a woman. Well, when California did that, it took away rights from same-sex couples that wanted to have their civil union, their relationship called a marriage. Now, there are certain rights that exist under marriage that don't exist in a civil union. We don't want to go there right now. But basically what the court said is essentially Proposition 8 just is picking on a certain group of people in California and taking rights away from them. Constitution says people will be entitled to equal protection under the law. And if the rights of someone are taken away, they're not given equal protection. Therefore, that kind of act that takes away their rights is considered violation of the U.S. Constitution, also a violation of the Constitution of the state of California. Okay, now we're hearing lots of rhetoric about this, and a lot of people are saying, well, wait a second, if I'm elected, I'm going to bring about an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that's going to prohibit same-sex marriages. It's going to redefine marriage. Well, we've got politicians who can say all kinds of things in order to get votes. But at the end of the day, this is really not a tyranny of democracy. It's not a matter of a bunch of people, all of us can get together and vote on something and take away the rights of certain groups within our nation. We have, in fact, a nation built on certain principles, such as equal protection of the law. And the government cannot take away those rights, period. Government can't take away those rights. And the courts then look at what's happening, and when somebody says, hey, you're stepping on my toe, you're taking away my rights, the courts look at it and say, is that in fact the case? And if they find it is, then they tell government to back off, because the Constitution is about really one thing. It's about keeping government out of your backyard and off of your toes. It's allowing you to go about living your life without the interference of government. The courts stand basically as the umpires between what can be done and what can't be done. They're the guys that say when things go foul and government's stepping on your toes, government has to back off. Now you can hear all kinds of politicians saying all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, there's one thing you have to remember, and that is politicians will say what they want to say and feel they need to say in order to get your vote. Judges and justices, when they decide constitutional principles, decide them in a way that will protect your interests. Bring you this video blog today, as we bring you video blogs every week, so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.